my word, Scrams. You gotta hear this.
Sky Blue, we have witnessed the disrespect that the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena has been displaying towards you. You asked for this time. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is Athena, your disrespect and your audacity to stick your nose in business that's not yours, to come to the top of the ramp and not come all the way down to the ring and face me face to face, and to bully every female in that locker room just to assert your supposed dominance that you clearly don't have. So since you want to pick me as your next victim and you want to pick on me, you want to bully me, even though I'm the one busting my ass for everything I've earned in this company, why don't we do this? Why don't we have that singles match that everybody wants to see? And why don't we just add a little cherry on top and make it for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship?
All right, well, let's see if...
Now, you may be saying to yourself, Mongo, there was nothing wrong with that. You're wrong, though. Pretty girl, no personality. None. This is the first time I ever heard her voice. Thank you to subscriber. You know who you are. You don't want to be noted online. So that's how it is. Sent me, said, hey, you got to listen to Sky Blue cut a promo. She's terrible. I listened to the promo. I said, it's not that she's terrible. It's just she's flat. All of them are flat. They're all so flat. None of them have any personality. Anna Jay, Tony Storm, Sky Blue, just so many of them. And there's even some in NXT too. Roxanne Perez, no personality to speak of. You're just saying to yourself, like, what happened to girls? Like, has it always been this way? Like, when I think about, like, female wrestlers, I'm sometimes thinking of, like, Luna Vachon, Sherry, Medusa, I know the Japanese girls, of course, are Japanese. It's a little bit different. They're taught to be mechanics, so I'm not going to blame them too much. But even when you watch, like, Joshi Pro Wrestling today, a lot of those girls have some kind of personality, even if their personality is just that they're upbeat, they smile a lot, and they do cutesy anime girl stuff. Even stuff like that. These girls in the United States, I don't get how they can exist in a country with all of these people, like all of these men, and they figure their strong suit is just being pretty. That's it. That's all they bring to the table. I'm pretty. Just look at me. And it's like, okay, but in watching this clip, I see that Sky Blue is wearing more makeup than Demolition. And it's the same thing for Roxanne Perez. When we talking about this not too long ago? That Rhea Ripley wears so much. I called her Crush because she looks like she was wearing so much makeup. But now you look at, and it's becoming a thing in AEW too. Like, Sky Blue is wearing so much makeup. And it's like, okay, it just accentuates her beauty, but it didn't help her personality, not one bit. That's the part of the business, the showmanship, that gets people connected to you, that makes them want to see you, it makes them like you. When it comes to Sky Blue, you can be only so over because people want to fuck you. Let's put it like that. Because you can always be over as a girl if that's the case. Some guys want to fuck you, that'll work every single time. Tony Storm, I want to fuck her. You're like, yeah, absolutely. She's over with me because I want to fuck her. But do I want to watch her wrestle? Do I want to listen to her talk? Do I want to buy a t-shirt of hers? No. I want to subscribe to her OnlyFans and then break out the lube and the baby oil. I want to follow her on Twitter and hit the like button. I don't want to watch her wrestle. I don't want to hear her talk. I don't see little girls wanting to be like her. Because it's like, what about you do they want to emulate? You're just like every other girl around them. You're like a big sister. You're like everybody's big sister, the girl next door. When you think about female wrestlers, even managers, Miss Elizabeth had that whole no personality, Disney princess look to her, but she was like one of the first ones really doing that, and it worked for her. It didn't work for Sunny, though. Sunny had a personality. Sable had a personality. She tried to do the Disney princess thing, too. It was a different era, though. In a different era, that Sable Disney princess stuff wasn't going to work out. Dudes was like, you got to do something. You got to make it shake. We've seen people do this before and do it more successfully. And then we saw women be a little bit more active. Everybody who grew up, wanting to fuck Sable grew up with Sherry and Luna, and there was a women's division a couple of years before that. They wanted women to actually do something. have personality, to chew up the screen. You being pretty gets your foot in the door. You look like somebody who should be on TV. They want to see you. But then once you're there, what do you bring? What are you bringing? It's if you're just going to be like, I am pretty and I want to wrestle you in a match. You're like, ugh, what? I'll watch it on mute, I guess. I'll wait for the modeling shoots that she's going to put on her Instagram, and I'll go and I'll like those, and that's it. No, look, I know I said that her promo wasn't awful, and it wasn't. It was competent, but it was flat. Flat equals bad. It's not good. Good is good. Flat is bad. All right? No personality, no voice inflection, no passion. Bad. No animation. Bad. It's all just bad. What is Tony Khan teaching? What is Shawn Michaels doing? Why are they doing this stuff? Why are there no female characters anymore? No wonder SoCal Val is talking about, hey, I missed the Divas era. Shit, I do too. These women are not glamorous. They're pretty, but they don't dress up. They don't look like stars. They don't even carry themselves like stars anymore. Like, it's a big deal when you see them like dressed up. Like you see a lot of male wrestlers, they show up in suits. You see women's wrestlers now, they're in jeans. They're in shorts. They're wearing gym shoes. You're like, they wearing hats with the hat turned to the back. You're like, okay, it's a bunch of tomboys mixed in with this whole thing. It's like, no. No. I'm not saying everybody needs to go get a boob job. I'm just saying go get a boob job. Okay? I'm not saying everybody needs to be Trish Stratus. I'm saying there's a reason why Trish Stratus is where she is. All right? I'm not saying everybody needs to be, go down the same path. I'm just saying look at what works and copy that. But I think it's the Lita-fication of women's wrestling, where not everybody thinks that they're Lita or AJ Lee, because AJ Lee was cute girl next door who skipped to the ring and she talked a good game, and she was a good wrestler. And I was like, you took the wrong thing from that situation. WWE pushed her too hard, right? So I think that might have been the issue. WWE put so much gas behind the AJ Lee thing that people started thinking that was the right way to go. And I'm looking at it like, no. AJ Lee, on the structure of women's wrestlers or women's personalities in WWE, she's somewhere outside of the top 10, maybe at like 12 or something. All right? When it comes to actually getting people's attention and holding it, it takes more than being pretty. It takes more than just being a good wrestler. You have to have a personality. You have to have some attitude. That was the one positive thing that AJ Lee did bring, is she had attitude. She knew how to go after the girls who were pretty and go after them for using their sex appeal to get TV time. It was a good storyline for her because she didn't have the boobs. She wasn't as good looking. So she played that role well. But she needed them to play off of, or it wouldn't have worked. If it was just her by herself, it shit wouldn't have worked. So I'm looking at this thing, man. I'm saying like Sky Blue is now in the same category with the rest of them. Pretty girl, no personality. And it's a dearth of female personalities in wrestling. There's tons of women wrestlers. How many of them actually have a fucking personality? Not many. Most of them got good butts. They do their squats. But for Christ's sake, when you try to actually listen to them, you better off, headbutting a train than listening to some of these chicks talk. Because they ain't got nothing to say. Ever, pretty much. You can't get them angry. Like, they don't show any passion. There's just no passion. There's no anger. There's no frustration. Like, terrible things happen to them, and they still have the same inflection in their voice. Or they don't even naturally, get so upset that they can cry. It's, weird, because women are very emotional creatures. And yet, they're so emotionless in their promos. How in the fuck does that happen? We need to go full Diddy. You know, I don't know how many of y'all old enough to remember when Diddy did The Band and he used to shut down the studio all the time. It's not just a Chappelle Show skit. It was a real show. We need to do that to all of these under 30 women's wrestlers like Sky Blue, Roxanne Perez, Anna Jay, and all of them. We need to just lock down the ring. We're going to put a padlock around the ring. Don't go nowhere near it until you have developed an actual personality. Until you can actually say some things that can be contributed to you and nobody else, where you look different, sound different, approach the business differently than anybody else. Otherwise, we're locking the fucking ring. You can't get in it. We don't even want you in the building until you have a personality, for fuck's sake. It's a crime against humanity for you to be so fine and for me to not want to hear you talk or watch you wrestle. It's a shame. You got it easy. Women live life on easy mode. All you have to do is be pretty. But that's the problem. They've been living life on easy mode. They've been getting by just being pretty. Enough. I'm done with it. She's cringe. All of these chicks are fucking cringe. And look, I'm not going to blame the girls 100%. It's 95% their fault because they don't have any personality. They got no business being where they are. They have no personality. The other 5% is towards the wrestling companies because they pick these young girls because this is where they're at their prettiest. You know, most of them will never be prettier than they are right now. Between the ages of 20 and 30, they'll never be prettier than they are right now. You know, this is how Hollywood works. Hollywood gets these chicks while they're really young. They're really pretty. They put them in these roles where they're, you know, the girlfriend, the damsel in distress, the Disney princess or whatever. People will be like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Oh, I love her so much. The music industry does the same thing. They'll get them young, plaster their faces all over the place. And then you figure out later on, no personality. I remember watching Beyonce on 106 in Park one time. I felt like I was watching an episode of Sesame Street, like Jim Henson was behind the boards or something like that with strings and, you know, pulling the puppet strings or some shit. That bitch was lifeless as hell. And then I figure out, oh, hey, you know, she dedicated her entire life to music and dancing and stuff. She ain't had time to develop a personality. So when you see her on TV, she's very awkward. And I'm like, ugh, that's very off-putting. It's very off-putting. And then you see it in wrestling. These chicks, oh, I wanted to be a wrestler since I was so young. So then they start training really young. And then they get into business really young. And then you see them on TV, they're still very young. And the company push because the audience likes them because they're pretty girls. But then you try to do anything with them in terms of deeper types of storytelling, and you can't talk, or they can talk, they can string words together, but they have no inflection, they have no passion, they have no acting skills, and you're like, maybe we should limit this. And then they complain when you say, maybe we should limit this. You know, like, no, you suck. So we're gonna just say enough's enough. All right. You look good. You look nice. We'll put you in a dress outside the ring. But if all you can do is just be thick and do pictures, then maybe that's all you need to do. Just start up your OnlyFans and call it a day. I don't see why we need to have these girls. Can anybody explain to me why we need these girls? I'm talking these girls specifically, the ones with no personality. I'm not talking about why do we need women's wrestlers in general. I mean, why do we need the Sky Blues? Why do we need the Zoe Starks? Why do we need the Roxanne Perez's? Why do we need Anna Jay? What about them is special? They're pretty girls. We see pretty girls all over the place. You're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, you see pretty girls all day long. You never have more access to seeing pretty girls. Why do we need to see them in wrestling? Unless you can actually add something to the show, you should kindly fuck right on off. And it's not like she pissed me off or anything like that. She just basically lit the wick that started this whole thing. And I feel bad for Sky Blue because she's going to end up being the face of this rant. And it's not really her fault because she's not the only one. But I'm tired of seeing pretty girls cut terrible promos because nobody has the balls to tell them, You have no fucking personality. Please. Study your ugly friends. Okay? Study your fat friends. You know how they laugh and self-deprecate and all this kind of stuff? Do that. Watch a movie. Read a book. You know, specifically read a book that wasn't written by a woman with a female lead. All right? Read a book in which the woman actually has a character arc and a personality. All right? Too many people want to be Captain Marvel. You know, it's some kind of masculine offspring, or, you know, they want to be a Disney princess that just, I exist and the prince loves me. Fuck you on both counts. You can do better than that. I'm daring you to do better than that. So, let's just call it a day, because I'm frustrated. Sky Blue sucks. All right? She sucks. But she ain't the only one. She suffers from the same affliction that Toni Storm's got, that Roxanne Perez got, that Scarlett has, that there are so many women in both WWE and AEW suffer from, where they're pretty girls with absolutely no personality. Therefore, I don't really see why anybody bothers to watch them on TV. All right. Thank you to the want to be left unknown subscriber. And thank you to everybody else. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort